In the news this week, police workers' compensation issued ignored during election campaign.
Plus, youth workers struggles over penalty rate cuts for Sunday work shifts.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Lung and Daniel Stanislaw.
Good evening. Both sides of politics have said yes to many commitments during the election campaign, but compensation issue for medically retired police officers remains untouched. Many retired officers are still being neglected, and they're challenging both parties to introduce compensation. Nelson Liu with this exclusive.
Wayne Matthews has been medically retired by WA Police for 7 years, and he's struggling in life off the front line, having not received workers' compensation.
I think it's absolutely deplorable.
He's fighting to get by, and he's unhappy both current and medically retired police officers still don't have support like him.
They have no financial benefits, there's no infrastructure or support supplied by the government.
The now medically retired Police Officers Association Vice President is concerned nothing has been done to help police officers.
Yeah, there's inaction.
Police workers' compensation hasn't been a major issue in this year's election, despite officers' worries about policing dangers and not being looked after if medically retired. However, both Liberal and Labor parties say there will be a compensation package, with the Liberal Party guaranteeing it almost immediately.
If re-elected, we will introduce workers' compensation for police officers.
But the opposition says Lisa Harvey hasn't made it a priority.
I don't think they've got any credibility at all when it comes to supporting police officers with workers' compensation.
Trust is a valuable commodity, with both sides of politics promising changes on the way. But medically retired police officers remain sceptical, and their patience is running out. Danny?
Nelson, thanks. Many youths who are struggling to make ends meet will become the latest victims of the penalty rates cut. The Fair Work Commission's ruling has caused outrage from the opposition, but some small and medium business owners believe the measures will boost local jobs. Cassandra Elliott reports.
Penalty rate cuts mean that staff get paid at a higher rate for working overtime, public holidays and on weekends. This week, the Fair Work Commission reduced Sunday and public holiday penalty rates.
I'm a supporter always of Western Australia remaining a high wage, high productivity, good place for everybody, and I don't think our future is in attacking the lowest paid in our community.
For casual staffers, this means they'll be working the same hours for less cash. However, for small business owners, this decision means they can afford to trade on public holidays and weekends.
I've worked out what I can get by on comfortably. That's allowing with this extra penalty rate. You cut that and I'm looking at having to pick up 5, maybe 10 hours extra a week on top of what I'm already doing.
The Fair Work Commission's announcement to reduce penalty rates is a hot topic that's already caused controversy among many voters. It's sure to be a focal point at the upcoming election. Greens member Alison Salmon says cutting penalty rates is going to be detrimental for young people.
I think it's going to be highly detrimental to young people who are already doing it tough, who are already cut out of the housing market, who are already needing to make sure, who are already struggling with the cost of living pressures.
Cassandra Elliott, WAMN News.
Police launched Operation Quadrangle 3rd this week in an attempt to crack down on graffiti offenders, with the estimated cost on graffiti in WA being $30 million. Police Senior Sergeant Michael Daltacosta says graffiti offenders escalated to commit more serious crimes without intervention.
Currently we're looking at graffiti along the lines of we need to enforce the law against some people, but also we're looking at engaging with certain sectors of the community like students or local government authorities to try and deter graffiti offending going forward.
Parents that are worried that their children may be a graffiti offender can seek information and support on Goodbye Graffiti website.
Deputy Premier Lisa Harvey has opened the Police and Community Youth Centre's refurbished facility in Kensington. The refurbishment is part of the government's plan to reduce local youth crime, with the program's achieving 93% reduction rate on re-offenders.
They offer training programs, and often these young people will return to a standard high school or take up a program in TAFE or employment, whatever it may be, to help turn their lives around.
Meanwhile, opposition leader Mark McGowan announced plans to secure local jobs by appointing a defence advocate for WA to boost our chances to winning defence work.
It doesn't make sense for major shipbuilds to occur in other states when the major Navy base is here and we have the most efficient private sector defence builders.
Local forklift drivers are angry over North Line's decision to hire foreign workers through 457 visa scheme for the next 3 years. Activists said they were hard done by the decision to bring in cheap 457 workers. The Transport Workers Union Secretary Tim Dawson demanded North Line to put local jobs first and create paid training for local youths.
12.9% unemployment in the youth in West Australia. That's not acceptable. And we need to train, and we need to force companies to train people. If the government think that 12.9% youth unemployment is acceptable, then we need to throw them out.
Donald Trump has slammed national media outlets by accusing them of falsifying contents and manufacturing fake news. During his address at a Conservative rally, he believed the media should be banned from using unnamed sources regarding stories against his campaign team's alleged relations with Russian authorities. Mr. Trump also said a new raft of measures will soon be in place to repeal Obamacare and eradicate Islamic extremists from the United States.
A few days ago, I called the fake news the enemy of the people, and they are. They are the enemy of the people because they have no sources. They just make them up when there are none.
And finally this week, Neighbourhood Watch Australasia's President Bernie Durkin kicks off a solo bike ride from Perth's Scarborough Beach to Bondi Beach in New South Wales. He's cycling these 400-kilometre journey across the country to raise awareness for Neighbourhood Watch. He expects it will take him about 6 weeks to complete.
It's the biggest challenge of my life, but it's for a good cause, promoting Neighbourhood Watch, so I'm really looking forward to it.
You can follow Bernie's trek across the country on www.nhwa.com.au.
And those are the stories you need to know this week.
We have the latest news on our website and Facebook. Until next week, see ya.
Good night.